Hello and welcome to lecture 2 of this video series on capacitors. In the last lecture we discussed what happens when capacitors are connected to batteries. Now in this lecture we learn what will happen if capacitors are connected to other capacitors. So if I have a parallel plate capacitor, say it is of 3 microfarads and it is charged already with 2 volts such a way that this is positive and this is negative plate, and I have another capacitor which is of 5 microfarads and the potential that at which it is charged is 4 volts. Now these two capacitors are connected to each other. What will happen when the capacitors are connected this way? You have to find what are the final charges, what is the final common potential, and what is the heat generated, if these are the things we are interested in. So how will we find this? Let's understand. First of all, let me write the initial charges on the capacitor. The charge on this capacitor on this plate will be plus 6 microcoulombs. On this one will be minus 6. This one will be plus 20 and this one will be minus 20. Now one thing you have to understand is, since the potentials are different, charges are different and all, the charges will rearrange till the potential of both the capacitors become equal. That is a common potential V. V is the common potential finally. So charges will rearrange till the potential becomes V. You have to find that V also. So how to do that? There are two ways. I'll teach you both of them. The first method is this. I'll just redraw the circuit. This is 5 microfarads and this is 3 microfarads. Now what happens is, say this one had 6 microcoulombs, this has 6 microcoulombs. Because of rearrangement of charges, some charge flows out from this plate. Let me write that charge as Q. Say Q charge flows out from this plate. So that means Q charge will again come back to this plate. This is the final condition. Now the thing is, if Q charge comes here, then Q charge also leaves here and Q charge comes back here. So ultimately this plate will have 6 minus Q charge. 6 minus Q. This one will have 20 plus Q. This one will have minus 20 minus Q, and this one will have minus 6 plus Q. Now make sure that the positive and negative plates always have opposite charges. As you can see here, this has 6 minus Q and this has Q minus 6. This has 20 plus Q and this has minus 20 minus Q. The charges should always be opposite. If they are not coming out to be opposite, then you are making a mistake somewhere. Anyway, and the common potential is V. So now if the common potential is V, that means potential difference across both of them is V. Potential difference can be written as Q by C, right? So Q by C on the 3 microfarad capacitor should be equal to Q by C on the 5 microfarad capacitor, because Q by C is potential. Now what is this Q? Q is the charge on the positive plate. Q is the charge on the positive plate. The positive plate for this capacitor is 6 minus Q. So charge is 6 minus Q by 3 should be equal to, this is 20 plus Q by 5. 20 plus Q by 5. So after solving this, or I'll just show you how to solve. 30 minus 5Q is equal to 60 plus 3Q. So this will give you 8Q is equal to minus 30. So Q is equal to 30 by 8 minus 30 by 8, which is minus 15 by 4 microcoulombs. So Q is equal to minus 15 by 4 microcoulombs. Now since you know this, you can put the value of Q everywhere and find the charges on each of the plates. Alright, and I leave that up to you. What about the common potential? The common potential can be found out by putting the value of Q on any plate of the capacitor or any capacitor of your choice. So if I put it on the third one, 3 microfarad capacitor, I'll get 6 minus Q. 6 minus Q, my Q is equal to 50 minus 15 by 4 minus 15 by 4 divided by C, which is 3 microfarads. Remember, this is microcoulombs and this is microfarad, so micro and micro will get cancelled out. What you're left with is 6 plus 15 by 4, that is 25 plus 15, 39 by 12, which again, if you simplify further, you'll get 13 by 4 volts. So the common potential is 13 by 4 volts. After finding the common potential, you can find out the heat generated. How to find the heat generated? By the same formula. Heat is equal to work done by battery minus delta E. Delta E is the change in the energies of the capacitors. Work done by battery is 0 because there is no battery. So heat is nothing but minus delta E, which is EI minus EF. Initial energy minus final energy. Now initial energy is nothing but the total energy of the capacitors initially before connecting. That is half C1 V1 square plus half C2 V2 square. So I'll just write it down. I won't solve it for you. It's up to you. Half C1 is 3 into V1 square, which is 4 because it is charged with 2 volts initially, plus half C2 is 5 and V2 square, V2 is 4 volts, so this will be 16. This is the total initial energy, half C1 V1 square plus half C2 V2 square, minus total final energy is half C1 V square plus half C2 V square. Why? Because the potential now is same. So it is half C1 V square plus half C2 V square. So I can collectively write it as half C1 plus C2 V square. This further, if you want to write, you have to write though, is half C1, which is 3 plus 5 into V square, which is 13 by 4 whole square. So after calculating this, you'll get the final heat generated. This is how you solve by the longer method. I'll also show you how to solve it in a shorter way. So to solve it in a shorter way, I'll again draw the circuit. This is the 3 microfarad. This is the 5 microfarad. This is positive, this is negative, this is positive, this is negative. This is 3 microfarad. This is 2 volts, 5 microfarads and 4 volts. How to solve this in a shorter way? Again do the same thing. I'll draw the circuit again. This is 3 microfarads. This is 5 microfarads. And finally the potential across both of them has become same, that is V. You want to find V. What you need to do is understand that if I draw a boundary like this, if I draw a boundary separating the left hand side of the circuit from the right hand side of the circuit, then you can clearly see that this left hand side circuit is completely isolated from the right hand side. Understand how? This capacitor plate and this capacitor plate are not in connection. Okay, there is clearly a gap between them. Similarly, this plate and this plate have a gap between them. So that means this whole circuit on the left hand side is completely isolated from the right hand side. This is completely isolated. Now the property of an isolated system is that the charges are conserved. The charge is conserved because the charge cannot fly out from this side and go to that side because there is gap between them. Conserved. So if the charges are conserved, then total charge in this system on the left hand side will remain same. Let's see what the charges are initially. Initially charge on this one was plus 6 and charge on this one was plus 20. So that means total charge on the left hand side was plus 26 microcoulombs. So even finally the total charge on the left hand side circuit will be 26 microcoulombs. Also, the potential across each of the capacitors is V. This is V and this is V. So can I say that charge on this plate, the positive plate of a capacitor, is always C into V, Q equals CV. So can I say charge on this one is plus 3 CV and charge on this one is plus 5 CV. I'm sorry. We have the value of C, so I'll just write plus 3 into V plus 5 into V, right? So all in all, 3V plus 5V, 3V plus 5V is the total charge on the left hand side, and that is also still equal to 26 microcoulombs. So that means 8V is equal to 26. 8V is equal to 26, alright, microcoulombs. So V is equal to 26 by 8, which is 13 by 4 volts. So common potential V we are getting as 13 by 4 volts, which is what we got previously, 13 by 4. But this time in a shorter way, that you just conserve the charges on the isolated plates and you get the common potential. Now if you want to find the charges on each plate, you can simply put the value of V. If you want the charge on this plate, it is simply 3 into V, which is 13 by 4. If you want charge on this one, it will be 5 into V, which is 5 into 13 by 4. And other things that are heat and all can also be found in the similar way. So this is a shorter method, but this is not always useful. In some questions you have to go by the previous method where some Q charge flows through this, and we'll do that question. So if this is clear, we'll move on to the next thing. I'll again write a question, similar question, so that I can tell you how quickly you can solve the question using the second method. Say initially, I'll just erase this one. This is the key. Initially the upper capacitor was charged with say 5 volts and the capacitor was of 2 microfarads. This was positive and this was negative. And lower capacitor is of 4 microfarads and it is charged with 3 volts. This is positive, this is negative. Again you are connecting the capacitors positive to positive. You have to find the final potential. I'm only asking to find final potential because after finding the final potential or the common potential, everything else can be found out easily. So final potential is to be found. So how to solve this? If you want, you can pause the video here and try it. I'll just keep going on. As I said, the left hand side is completely isolated. So initial charge on the left hand side, this is 2 into 5 CV is 10 plus 10 and this is 4 into 3 12 plus 12. So the total charge in this blue box is 22 microcoulombs. Finally the potential across both becomes V. So if the common potential is V, and if I draw the circuit again, this is the 2 microfarad capacitor, and now the common potential or potential across this one is V. This one is 4 microfarads, the potential is V, and if they are connected, then as I said that if you draw a boundary separating left hand side from the right hand side, then this is completely isolated. The charge on this plate later finally is 2 into V, that is plus 2V, and this one is plus 4V. Then this 4V plus 2V should be equal to 22 microcoulombs. So 4V plus 2V is equal to 22. So V is equal to 22 by 6, which is 11 by 3 volts. So final common potential is 11 by 3 volts. This is the answer. We have another type of question where you have a capacitor and you have another capacitor. This time this capacitor, let me take for example 4 microfarads, and it is already charged with 5 volts. This is positive and this is negative, and this capacitor is charged with say 6 volts. This capacitor is charged with say 6 volts, and the capacitance is 2 microfarads. These are completely arbitrary values I am taking, but this time this is negative and this is positive. Now they are connected to each other. So that means the positive plate is connected to the negative plate and vice versa. So what will be the common potential? Common potential this time. What will be the common potential? If you want, you can pause the video here. Alright, let's see. To find the common potential, again, what you can assume is the left hand side of the circuit is completely isolated from the right hand side. What were the charges on the left hand side? On this plate, charge was plus 20, and charge on this one is minus 12. So total charge is 20 minus 12, which is 8 microcoulombs. Now finally the potential difference or potential across both of them becomes V. Potential across both of them becomes V. So what will be the charge finally on this plate? If I write the final charge with a different color, let me write the final charge here. Final charge will be 4 into V, which is 4V plus 4V, and final charge here will be 2 into V, 2V. But will this 2V be negative or positive? That is the question. Should I write minus 2V here because this is the negative plate, or should I write plus 2V here? The answer is you have to write plus 2V. Why do we have to write plus 2V and not minus 2V? Because once the potential becomes equal, then it will be clear that either left hand side circuit will be at higher potential or the right hand side circuit. Alright, because the potentials are equal, then this plate, if you are assuming it to be at higher potential and this one at lower potential, that means this will have positive charge and this will have negative charge. So same goes for this also, because now again the potential across this capacitor is also V, and this has to be again higher potential and this has to be lower potential. So if the left hand side has higher potential, you will write plus 2V here, and if you had to write charge on this one, this would be minus 2V. So now the total charge is 4 plus 2, which is 6V. 4V plus 2V equals 6V. Remember, this is not volts, this is 6V. Okay, this is the charge. So I can write 6V is equal to 8. So V is equal to 4 by 3 volts. So the common potential is 4 by 3 volts. After finding the common potential, you can find everything else. If you want to find energy or heat can be found out by using initial energy minus final energy. Basically the energy lost. Alright, because the work done by battery is 0. So EI minus EF. EI is the total initial energy, half C1 V1 square plus half C2 V2 square minus half C1 plus C2 into V square, where V is this. So this is how you can find the heat. You can put in all the values if heat is asked. In textbooks and in many other books, what you'll see is a direct formula. Okay, a direct formula to find heat and common potential. Common potential from formula. And that formula can be divided into two parts. One is when capacitors are joined as with like plates. Like plate means positive to positive and negative to negative. So when they are connected by like plates, then the formula for common potential V is equal to C1 V1 plus C2 V2 by C1 plus C2. And unlike plates, for unlike plates, that is positive to negative and negative to positive, the common potential formula is C1 V1 minus C2 V2 by C1 plus C2. These are the formulae. But if you think about it, you don't even need to remember this formula. If you know this method is directly how the formula is formed. In the like plates example, this one, let's take this one. In this example, C1 V1 was the charge on the first capacitor, that is 3 into 2 C1 V1, and C2 V2 was the charge on the second capacitor. So that's what we did. C1 V1 plus C2 V2 is equal to 26. Now 26 is equal to 3V plus 5V. So we got V as 26 by 8. 26 by 8. And what was 26 by 8? 8 was the addition of the capacitors 3 and 5. 3 and 5 is 8. So the formula that says C1 V1 plus C2 V2 is nothing but what we did till now. Similarly, if you look at the other formula, it is C1 V1 minus C2 V2. So in the last example, you have C1 V1 minus C2 V2. C1 V1 is the charge on one capacitor. C2 V2 is the charge on the other capacitor, 2 into 6, 12. But you added a negative sign because this was connected in opposite polarity. So minus 12. So C1 V1 minus C2 V2. C1 V1 minus C2 V2 divided by, here it is, C1 V1 minus C2 V2, that is 8 divided by 6. And what is 6? The addition of the capacitors. 4 plus 2, 6. So 8 by 6. So basically this formula is formed from that itself. So even if you don't remember the formula, remember the technique. Also, you have a formula for heat. In the first scenario, when you have positive to positive or like plates, the formula for heat is given as H equals half C1 C2 by C1 plus C2 V1 minus V2 whole square, and when it is connected positive to negative, then the formula for heat is half C1 C2 by C1 plus C2 V1 plus V2 whole square. Now I am not deriving this formula, and there's not even a need to derive this formula because you know how to find the heat even if you don't remember this formula. Alright, so this is the formula. If you remember directly, it is well and good. If you don't remember, even then you can find it out. So we'll end our lecture here. In the next lecture, we'll learn how in some cases you cannot use the conservation of charge method that we learned here. The conservation of charge method, that is, the charge inside this box remains conserved. The same method cannot be applied in some questions. That's what we'll learn in the next video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you liked the video, please give a thumbs up, comment your queries, and subscribe to this channel. Thank you.